What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything you need to know about on a daily basis and what's going on here in our country, including the fourth stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and everything you need to know about, including the government considering a new round of stimulus checks that the White House is now actually considering. Yeah. That's right. The White House, President Biden, are now considering an oil profits tax to fund a consumer rebate check. Yeah. Could this be the next $1,400 stimulus check that we all Americans get to see? Now, remember the $1,400 stimulus check that was passed underneath Biden, aka the third stimulus check, and that complete stimulus package that was passed, as soon as Biden came into office. I mean, it took like a month or so to get everything passed with the reconciliation process. That was passed with Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema through the reconciliation process. Well, and remember that also had the child tax credits that had $3,000 to $3,600 for the year, paid out in monthly payments that started in the second half of the year last year. Remember, to get the first half of the year, you need to file a tax return for 2021. You're still owed $1,500 to $1,800 per child, but you need to file a tax return for 2021 here in 2022. So remember that. Share this video with anybody you know who is not normally a tax filer, okay? But they have not passed the child tax credits, the enhanced child tax credits, this year in 2022. So if they don't, they'll revert back to the lower amount of $2,000 per child, and you will have to file a tax return to get that as well. And remember, there's millions of people that don't normally file tax returns. Okay. Plus, instead of $3,000 to $3,600, they'll go down to $2,000, which is $1,000 to $1,600 less per child. I mean, that's a whole stimulus check less, right? That's a lot of money, right? It adds up. Okay. But in that package was the child tax credits, was the $1,400 stimulus check per person, per child as well, per dependent, per adult dependent, per college student. And there was over $40 billion in rent assistance, mortgage assistance, $9.9 billion, utility assistance. There was all sorts of things in that package. Well, guess what? They're working on a new version of a reconciliation package right now with Senator Joe Manchin, right? Dun, dun, dun. You know his theme song, right? And one of the key components they're saying in this package will be lowering the cost of prescription drug pricing, okay? Which is an unbelievable cost for millions of Americans, over 100 millions of Americans here, actually. We actually pay more than any country in the world. As you can see here, prescription drug prices in the United States are 2.5 times more money than those in other countries. And we're talking about most of the time, or oftentimes, the exact same prescriptions that are just sold by the exact same companies, by the exact same names in other countries. So, we're talking about things, sold by Pfizer, sold by other pharmaceutical companies, sold to Canada, sold to Mexico, sold overseas. The exact same prescriptions, just sold for 2.5 times more money on average in the United States. I know, guys. This is just one example, right? This is like the prescription Alduham, the Alzheimer's drug that basically everybody on Medicare is paying for. That was $56,000 on average. That was a part of the raise for everybody paying for Medicare Part B. and was part of why Medicare Part B had the extreme raise this year. Was $56,000. Okay, and then the pharmaceutical company who makes it says, "Oh, we're going to be so nice, and we're going to cut the cost by half, and we're going to lower it down to $26,000." What a nice company! Aren't they just so generous to lower their cost by half, and the average cost will now be only $26,000 per year? Aren't they just so generous? They're just so nice for that prescription to be only $26,000 a year, right? And meanwhile, it's a controversial drug anyways. The results on it are very negligible at best if you actually kind of read into it a lot. And there's actually very few people that can even take it. You have to be part of a clinical trial. And like I said, the results, you can look into it yourself here. Um, but it might not even be approved in the future because of the results and stuff. So, you know, I digress. But this is kind of the problem here, which is this is just one example of costs that Americans have. And even if you don't really pay that much for prescription drugs, one way or another, you are paying for them. So, for example, if you're on Medicare, you're paying for them because you're paying for them in your premiums. If you're paying for healthcare, you're paying for them in your premiums. One way or another, you're paying for these. It's really kind of sad. Yeah. And your deductibles, those things keep going up and up. In fact, let me show you here. You actually might be due a check here. I actually just seen this story. A lot of people don't even know about this. I just came across this. Yeah, you could see here health insurers poised to pay $1 billion in rebates to 8.2 million people this year. It says insurance companies that sell group or individual policies generally must adhere to a quote medical loss ratio, requiring them to spend at least 80% of the premiums paid by enrollees on a health care cost by law. If they don't reach that threshold, the difference is reimbursed to eligible policyholders. This year's estimated $1 billion is down from $2 billion as issued in 2021. So if you got a check last year in 2021, I think I reported on this last year, and $2.5 billion in 2020, you might be getting another check here this year as well. It says here, there's a chance your health insurance company owes you some cash. Even if you didn't get a check previously, you might get one this time around. Depending on how you get your coverage, you may be one of the 8.2 million people or policyholders expected to get a piece of the $1 billion in premium rebates this fall from various insurers, according to a preliminary analysis from the Kaiser Family Foundation for Health Insurance. In the last couple of years, we've seen some really large rebates, twice the size of this year's amount. We've seen this from car insurance as well. But $1 billion is significant. Generally, you're more likely to see a rebate if you have an individual policy, including through a state health exchange or a federal one, or participate in a small or large group plan. But many of the biggest US employers choose to self insure, which means their plans don't have to adhere to certain requirements placed on insurance companies. Different rules also apply to Medicare and Medicaid coverage. Why are these rebates going out? Because of that medical loss ratio. They have to spend 80% of their premiums on healthcare costs. This year's refunds will go out to eligible participants enrolled. The average will be about $141 per plan participant in the individual market, $155 in the small group market, and $78 in large group plans, according to Kaiser. However, that amount can vary widely depending on your location and insurer. So may the force be with you, and I hope you get a check. But note that typically insurers can send you a check, or they can deduct the rebate from your premiums and send a check to individuals no longer enrolled but owed some money. So you could get a check. You also could get they also could deduct the amount from what you owe in an upcoming premium as well. So pay attention to your statements as well. If you're entitled to a rebate, you should receive it by September 30th. And really, we got to think here with inflation just ravaging on 8.3%, 8.5% in the last 2 months. We don't know what it is for May yet, but gas prices are actually at an all-time high right now. So it could be somewhere, in that range. In fact, I just did a video about Social Security with a statement from the Social Security Administration on Social Security raises. I'll link you to that video here at the end of that. But Social Security had a statement saying the Social Security raise could be very significant coming up. And well, that hopefully will help out millions of seniors and people on Social Security. Very good video on that. I'll link you to that if you haven't seen that yet. But these massively high gas prices are really taking a toll on Americans, and food prices as well, which are also being hurt by gas prices, because we have to transport everything to a grocery store. We have to transport everything to a store. And I actually had a comment from a trucker in the comment section. I don't remember who it was, but they said, Jimmy, it's not the trucker's fault. And I totally agree. I totally get that. It's definitely not the trucker's fault at all, because they're just filling their gas tanks, and they're definitely not to blame here, and they have no control over gas prices at all. So in fact, I believe they said that they think that a lot of trucker companies and independent truckers may actually go under here, because they're getting the same rates for hauling, and they're still having to pay for their gas, and they're actually losing money at this point. So I think a lot of independent truckers are kind of like entrepreneurs, where they're basically like taking gig. They're kind of like gig workers, kind of like entrepreneurs. And if they don't get higher rates to kind of compensate for the extremely high gas prices that we're paying right now, they could go out of business. And we think about how many small businesses went out of business when the pandemic first hit, when we had the lockdowns or the shutdowns. Our lockdowns really weren't quite what we've seen out of China here recently. But that was a lockdown. That was literally a lockdown. My gosh. United States freedom is quite a different definition, right? Thank thank God for the United States. But yeah, but yeah, proud to be an American. Proud to be an American. But yeah, um, the problem here is how do we control gas, or lower this gas price, lower this um, food prices? What do we do? What do we do? And you're not even going to believe this here, but gas prices have even been skyrocketing even more. Look at this here. The national average just spiked up 5 more cents in just one day, now to 4.76. Just 5 cents in 24 hours. This is the highest price it's ever been. Diesel's on the rise again. These are both all-time highs. And you can see here, this is up, well, that's about 460. This is up 16 cents in a week. 16 cents in a week. This is just insane, guys. This is insanity. Why does it keep going up? And actually, oil is actually going up a little bit here, a little bit. I mean, we were hanging around 115 here. We're at 118, 119. So oil has gone up a little bit, which is actually surprising because we just had a big announcement from OPEC here. Yeah, you could see here, we just had a big announcement from OPEC. OPEC agrees to pump more oil as Russian output drops. And they had previously not said they were going to increase output, and now they changed their mind. And this should lower the price of oil because they're putting more supply on the market. Yeah, OPEC said that they would increase supply by 648,000 barrels per day in July and August, 200,000 barrels per day more than scheduled under a supply agreement with other producers, including Russia, known as OPEC. Yeah, so they had just announced this here. They agreed to pump more crude over the next 2 months as Russian producers begins to drop because of Western sanctions. So they just agreed to pump more oil. The Biden administration welcomed the important decision from OPEC and highlighted Saudi Arabia's role as the group's largest producer in achieving consensus. This announcement accelerates the end of the current quota arrangement and has been in place in July of last year, and brings forward the monthly production increase that was previously planned to take place in September. Yeah, so you can see here the toll on this war just continues to put problems, and it's just exacerbating everything. Gas continues to go up, and I believe President Biden said it was up $1.40 since Russia amassed troops at the border of Ukraine. And now it just continues to go up. So now it could be $1.50 or $1.60. And remember that as soon as that happened, remember just the scare of that started to raise oil prices. Remember, um, and now it's affecting food prices, and we really need the government. We're seeing a lot of state help, but we really need federal help as well. But the question is, will we get Republicans and Democrats to agree together to come together, or what can the government do through the reconciliation process, or through the SNAP program, through the student loan program, through executive orders? What can they do through different type of programs to step in and help the American people right now? Now, remember that revenues are going up on the federal level and the state level. So they have the money to help right now. And I will keep you up to date here with everything you need to know about. I'll link you to some important videos I just did you need to watch next. So make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. It's completely free to do so. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After you subscribe, click the bell icon so you get notifications as soon as we go live. Here's my new video I just did on a new Social Security announcement on Social Security raises. Click that video if you haven't yet. And here is a video on new stimulus checks that were just announced. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.